A very warm welcome to each of you and thank you for taking time out to catch us live. We welcome all of you with open arms as our goal is to serve, learn, share, and reach beyond. In addition, we are here for you with any assistance that you or your organization might need on a group or individual basis. SixSox classrooms are where we deliver quality to the best of our capabilities. Do reach out to us to know more. The path to life is a beautiful one, yet involves a lot of twists and turns. Today, we bring to you our first senior citizen on our Six Sock Showcase. Please welcome Mr. Nagabhushan Balaji, who will be hosting today's showcase with Mrs. Bhagavathi, who we dearly call Amma. Over to you, Mr. Balaji.
Thank you, Deepak. And for all the audience, thank you so much for being here. I am not the senior citizen she is speaking about. We have our dear Amma today, Bhagavathy. Amma, welcome to SixSox show. And thank you so much for being here. Over to you for the next 5 to 6 minutes.
Sabko mera namaskar. This is wishing you all good afternoon in Hindi. It's rare to find a South Indian fluently speaking Hindi. Thank you very much, Mr. Balaji. I am speaking like this in front of you all for the first time. I would like to thank for giving this opportunity to SixSox team. And I'm doing it only for them because I cannot say no to them. This is the way of life for me. We all have dreams, and I also had a dream of being a doctor. This was my father's dream also. From my childhood, I was good at science. In 9th standard, because of my school principals knew that my father wanted me to be a doctor, and he advised my father to choose biology as my main subject. I was keen on mathematics, and I used to sit in the mathematics class instead of biology. One day, the principal got to know that I'm not attending the biology classes. So the principal called me to the office and gave me a letter to be given to my father. I did not know what was there in that letter. When my father read the letter, he was very angry. My father had served in the Royal British Air Force. Hence, he was a very strict man. He shouted at me and said, "You better be at home and manage the household work if you don't want to attend the biology classes." Hearing his shouting, I remember even our neighbors came to my house asking us what happened. This was the first time I had compromised in my life because that's the way of life. Soon I started liking biology. During the biology practical and section, I used to top the batch. External professors who used to examine our practical used to be surprised in the way I used to perform the dissection and answer all the Viva questions. Even until 2009, my husband had kept all my practical books safe and used to show it proudly to everyone. When we were shifting from Goa to Mumbai in the year 2009, the box with the books was lost in the transfer. Again, I compromised, and that's life. I finished my pre-degree. I got an admission for BSc, that's Bachelor's in Science, and stayed in a hostel far away from home, actually only 28 kilometers. Many of you must be thinking that 28 kilometers is very near. But those days, it used to take 2 hours to cover the distance of 28 kilometers. I again compromised my life. for my future. I had chosen my subject physics, chemistry, and biology, that is botany and zoology. I used to top the batch with highest marks. My practical used to be appreciated by all the teachers and examiners. All this time, I still wanted to be a doctor. My dream of being a doctor became alive. One day, my father received a telegram. This was 53 years ago. No email, no phones, no WhatsApp, only postal telegram. My mother used to tell me that when he opened the telegram and read it, he was very happy. The telegram was that I had been selected for medical, seeing my percentage in B.Sc without any exam. He immediately rushed to the college and paid a fee of Indian rupee 250. Yes, you heard it right only, Indian rupees 250. Those days, if you get selected for medical after B.Sc, then it was only 3 years course, not including house internship.
Thank you so much, Amma. That was wonderful to hear about your initial introduction. I have a question here. So, what is the reason that you could not practice as a doctor, even though you had got this letter and you had paid the admission fee?
Well, I will tell you. I was very happy because my dream nearly coming true. There were only 30 students in my batch, and that to all girls. I was staying in a hostel. I remember that we used to have 8 hours of practical. I used to have my breakfast and then only dinner because there was no time for lunch. I was enjoying my medical studies. When I was in my second year, I remember that I was studying very hard to top the class. 1 week before the exam started, I got fever and I also started vomiting. The examination started. I used to take bath, offer prayers, and then go for the examination. I could not study at all before the examination because of high fever and constant vomiting. Still, I managed to go for the first exam, English. The fever was not coming down and the vomiting was increasing. Still, I went and answered the second exam, physics. On the third day of the exam, fever increased and I was feeling very weak. While answering the third exam, chemistry, I put my head down on the desk due to weakness and high fever. My biology teacher came to me and asked, what happened? I told her that I am not feeling well. So she touched my forehead and immediately took me to the principal's room. The principal was very angry and shouted at me, asking that why I came for the exam when I was not having fever. And she has asked me why I had not told them that I had fever. She called the hostel warden and shouted at her also. She told her, how come you did not know that she is not well? The hostel warden said that she did not know at all. Then the principal shouted at me for not informing the warden. Seeing my condition, the principal immediately asked me to be admitted in the hospital in the same premises. A blood test was conducted and it was confirmed that I had typhoid. I would not be able to write the remaining 2 examinations because I was admitted to the hospital for 10 days. A lady was appointed to take care of me when I was in the hospital. She used to serve me bread, tea, and sweet lime juice. All the expenses was paid by the college for my treatment. Today, I cannot remember the lady's name, but I pray for her every day because she took care of me like her daughter. In those days, there was no person who could write the exam for anyone who was sick. So I had to compromise with the examination and was sad that I will have to repeat the year again. So in the meantime, my father was transferred to another place nearly 500 kilometers away. When I was feeling better, the principal came to see me in the hospital. She said, once I can discharge from the hospital, I would have to go home and stay there for 15 days. And she shall send a telegram to my father to come and pick me up. I informed her and requested her not to inform my father and that I shall manage in the hostel itself. Because she was staying, my father was staying far away and had been just transferred. I was discharged from the hospital and was staying in the hostel. The lady who was appointed to take care of me was there with me all the time during the 15 days. I used to miss my parents and I was very sad that I lost a year. The lady who was with me used to tell me, "Why are you crying? I am there with you. Don't cry." Sometimes the compromises we make helps us. When my result came, I had passed and I did not lose a year. They told me that they gave me the marks based on my previous exam results and the classwork.
So finally, did you complete your studies?
Yes, I will tell you what happened. The third year started and I had 1.5 years more to complete my dream. The final exam dates were confirmed. It was in the month of March. During this time, my father fixed my marriage also, which was to be in the month of June. There was a strike in the university and the exam dates were postponed for September. My father asked my would-be mother-in-law if the marriage could be postponed. She straight away refused. She said, "I can write the exam after the marriage." I had not seen my future husband and did not even know how he looked. The best part is that just a few days before the marriage, after all the preparations were completed, we got to know that my would-be husband and I were distantly related. The marriage happened on the set date and a new chapter in my life had begun. In the meantime, I was able to answer the exams and passed also. Just before the house surgeonship began, my husband was transferred to a very far away place also. We spoke to the nearby medical college in the new city, asking if we could complete the house surgeonship there. However, they refused and said that I will have to go to the same place and complete my house surgeonship. Because those days, there was no online examinations facility. So my parents-in-law and my husband refused to send me to the old place to complete the house ownership. I had no option than to compromise on my father's and my dream. That's my life. I was very upset, and till today, if I think about the past, I feel sad that I could not become a doctor and fulfill my father's dream. This compromise helped me take care of my family.
That's quite interesting to hear. Since you had compromised so much, what is your goal in life now?
Okay. In the meantime, I became a mother to my elder son, and my sister-in-law at that time lost her husband around that same time. She had two daughters, one 3 years old and another one 7 years old. We had to support her financially and psychologically. We had a financial difficulty as my husband was earning only one earning number in the house. We stayed in a colony. Our neighbor, Mrs. and Mr. B.N. Valiga, who supported us during this period, helping by giving us money. I'm not sure if they are here listening. Thank you very much, Mr. and Mr. Valiga, for the support. My husband used to take money from them in the mid of the month and return it in the beginning of the next month when the salary used to come. This continued for nearly a year. My husband never told us about all this for a long time. Until one day, we came to know it. My husband was sad when he told us about it. My mother-in-law said, "Why do you worry? We will manage with whatever we have." All of us had compromised with our life. This is life. Because of this, I learned from my mother-in-law how to live life with whatever we have. A few years later, after my second son was born and started going to school, one day one of our neighbors came to visit us. She was working as a teacher in a girls' school. The girls' school was next to the school where my sons were studying. She said that school was in need of a Hindi teacher. So, because I had studied in Hindi medium school, I could speak, understand, and write Hindi fluently, which is a very rare for South Indians. I was very happy because I could support the family. That evening, I told my husband about what our neighbor had told me. He said, "You ask your mother-in-law. Whatever she says and her decision, we follow it." The next day, my husband told my mother-in-law, his mother, that our neighbor told us that there is an offer from the school for a Hindi teacher and that they are looking for me to join. And that my neighbor was the one who recommended my name also. My mother-in-law was silent for some time. Then she said in a polite and soft manner that I can go to the school and teach. Then she asked me, "Who will take care of two children? I cannot take care of both the children, and it is only for the money that you want to go to the school and teach the children. Is the money that your husband is earning not sufficient?" My husband was listening and I had no answers. We were both quiet. The next morning, I called my neighbor to our home and informed her that I was not interested in the job. And it would be very difficult for my mother-in-law to take care of the children and the house. A few months later, my neighbor visited us once again. This time she told us that the school was still waiting for me. They had appointed a teacher, but she was not good and the position was vacant again. So all this was happening in front of my mother-in-law. This time, my mother-in-law told my neighbor that I was not keen on the job. And that it would be difficult for me and her to manage the children and house together. My neighbor used to keep asking me every now and then if I could join. But I kept telling her that I was not interested. Again, I had compromised for the family and children. During this period, my elder son's classmate's father died in an accident. They were from North India. I told my neighbor, who asked me to join the school, to refer my son's classmate's mother for the job. At the time, I did not even know her. She got the job and she was very thankful to me for it. Recently, my elder son received a call from his classmate, whose mother I had referred for the job. He asked my son to hand over the phone to me because I want to speak to me. This was when I had traveled to Dubai. My son's classmate then described how the job helped them during their difficult time. And whatever he is today is only because of the sacrifice I had made for his mother, whom I have never met till today.
Okay, you are now 70 plus. So what did you do
Yes.
with all the knowledge you earned till now?
I never went to work, but I have taught many children in subjects like Hindi, physics, chemistry, and biology for 10th and 12th classes. In fact, I have not charged a single pie for any of these tuitions. I nearly taught them for the year, from the year 1978 to 2004. Maybe their good wishes is the reason my sons are doing pretty well in their life. Till 2008, I used to receive calls from different schools and colleges to teach Hindi to the students. But all the time, I only remember my mother-in-law's words. And every time I said no to the job. When my second son was studying in pre-degree in Goa, his friend was a rank holder. The college was expecting him to get a rank in the board exam, but he was weak in Hindi. My second son's maths teacher came home one evening and requested me to teach him Hindi. My husband said, if they want to pay money for the class, we are not interested. Next day, I told the same to the maths teacher. He left with a smile on his face because he also had a same principle. I know that he used to donate his full salary to the trust for orphan children. Next day, my second son's friend came home for the classes. He studied with me for 6 months before 12th exam. I used to give him a test once in 15 days. 1 week before the exam, I had given a test for 3 hours. He scored 62 marks. After the Hindi exam, he came home and told me that he nearly got 80% of the paper was like what he had written in my house for his test. When the result came, he had got 82 marks out of 100, which helped him to get a total of 84%. This helped him secure first rank in the college and 12th rank in the university. He then joined a very famous engineering college in Mumbai. Seeing this, my second son's college asked me to join as a Hindi teacher for the 12th standard. Fate was again not in my favor, and my husband was transferred to another city in Goa, about 6 kilometers far away.
Fate was not in your favor. Amma, one big question. Out of all these compromises which you have done, which one has been your biggest compromise?
My elder son got married and was happily living with his life, and my younger son was working in Mumbai, where he bought a house. Everything was going well by God's grace. We shifted to Mumbai and started living with our second son in 2009. In 2013, he was transferred to Dubai. We again became alone. He used to come and visit us every alternate month. In 2015 December, when he came to visit us, my husband told him to resign and come back to India. He promised to resign in the month of June 2016 and return. But on 6th of January 2016, my husband fell very seriously sick. On 7th, I admitted him to the hospital. On that day, my compromise, which I had made all these years, helped me because I knew how to understand the situation and manage with people around me. When my husband was being admitted to the hospital, it was the entire neighborhood that was helping because both my sons were out of the country. My elder son arrived the next day, and my younger son arrived after 5 days. Our neighbors arranged for everything. My husband needed 14 bottles of blood. Except one bottle which my younger son gave, the rest of the 13 bottles were arranged by them only. Till date, I do not know who were the 13 people who donated life to my husband. Here too, it was not in my favor, and I had to compromise because he left us on the 5th of February 2016, nearly 1 month later. I was all alone after being married to my husband for 48 years. I did not even know how to operate a bank account. I did not know how to withdraw money from the bank or ATM. I did not know how to use a mobile phone. And only I knew to receive cards. I did not know how to even make calls. I had never traveled alone. And now I was left to do all this alone. Compromises teaches you how to live life, and I slowly learned everything. My son, as he had promised my husband, refused to return to Dubai and resigned from his job. His boss, who may be listening to me on this program, called him and asked him to report to work within 2 days. This time, we all had to compromise, as this is the way of life. My second son left for Dubai, and I went to stay with my elder son, who had 2 children, one 9 years old and another one 3.5 months old daughter.
Now, since you have children, grandchildren, and one of them is sitting next to you, how do you spend your time now?
Today it is nearly 6 years since my husband left us. I shuttle alone between my elder son in Bangalore, my sister's place, our home in Mumbai, and Dubai to my younger son. I have learned how to withdraw money from the bank, use the ATM card, and also how to use WhatsApp on the phone. Even this meeting on Zoom, I do not know how to connect, as I have not learned how to use a laptop. It is all done by my younger son. I spend time during the day talking to my granddaughter. She calls me on a video call and we usually play. She tells me her stories and I listen to her. She also tells what she did the whole day. She spends nearly an hour with me most of the days. And it is she who calls me on video call from her iPad. And do not forget that she is only 5 years old. My grandson usually calls me when he has difficulty with Hindi. I teach him the lessons and poems on video call. He sends the picture of the lesson via WhatsApp. I read it and explain the same to him. He also learns Hindi grammar with me. My life has been filled with compromises and adjustments because life has taught me that compromises is a permanent solution and adjustments are temporary and do not last long. This is what has worked for me all my life. And I urge you to find out what works for you because that is the way of life. Over to you, Balaji.
Namaskaram. Amma, thank you so much for all the people who are here and for the people who are organizing SixSox. You are our best will wisher, a great advisor. Thank you so much. We have some questions coming up from the audience. So I will leave it to you, Deepa, to take it further.
Thank you, Mr. Balaji, and thank you, Amma.
Thank you.
We will now move on to the interactive. Amma, so the first question that I have for you,
Yes.
when to compromise in an unfavorable situation and when to fight to make it favorable?
What to say?
When to fight, when to compromise.
So, right. Should see, as far as possible, you should try to compromise. That's what I feel.
Deepa,
Then only the family life will be happy.
Deepa, there is one thing my mother always tells me, so I'm sure she tells to me in Tamil, but I'll definitely tell you in English. She says that it's better to compromise than to fight, because when you fight, sometimes you may actually hurt somebody who's around you. And those people will actually, you may need them later in your life. So it's better to compromise than to actually fight it if you know that it's going to burn a few bridges. And she's extremely cautious with relationships, and she does not pick up fights and actually go and hurt people around. So that is something I know that she does. But yeah, she may be a fighter in terms of picking up on certain things. But yes, if it's not worth the deal, not worth it. Human relationships key.
Thank you. The next question that I have for you, Amma, we have a lot of love pouring in for you. So I will read out a few of the comments.
Okay.
What an inspiration you are, Mrs. Bhagavathi. We love you and God bless you. Very inspiring speech, Amma. Someone has said, happy to listen to your inspirational journey. I'm sure your family members have imbibed all these qualities. The one sitting next to you certainly believes in service with a smile. The next question.
Thank you.
If you have to give one piece of advice to us from your life experience, what would it be?
Always try to compromise each other. There will not be any fight, and life will be happy. That's what I feel.
Deepa, I'll add to that. I'll add to that. So for her, compromises are number one. So if you ask her, so if I gave her an option of, let us say, Mama, we'll go to the restaurant this evening. It usually happens over the weekend. So let's go over to the restaurant and have something to eat food. She says, you know what? What's the point in going out? You're going to be eating food there as well as at home. Let's compromise going out. Who knows what the food that we'll eat. You may fall sick. You eat at home and let's take it. So she looks at the benefit in everything that we do.
That's the adjustment.
The next time Sahil asks me to go out eating, I will guide him to you because he does not listen to that compromise statement of mine.
Surely. Why not?
The next question that I have for you. Life has continuously thrown challenges, placed obstacles. How do you manage to maintain such a positive outlook?
What do you mean positive?
See, you should always think in positive way only. Should not think in negative way. That's what I feel. Anytime, any day, you will get a good news or good thing. So you should wait for that. That's the positivity. Not going back and think of the negative.
So Deepa, let me give you an example here. So I'll go back to 2016 because that's the year that's gone into her life, written in red, and mine also written in red. So when you say how do you stay positive, is I remember when the doctor used to come and tell us, what, it doesn't look great. It usually happens to all of us when you're having patient in the hospital. I remember how she used to motivate us and tell us, what, tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow will always be better. We know we may be having a losing battle, but tomorrow may be better. So that tomorrow may be better is one of the things that she keeps telling me, even when I'm struggling with work. When I'm going through my roughest phase, she says, don't worry, tomorrow will definitely be better. And all of this happens actually in Hindi or in Tamil. And you should ask her that.
Amma, the last question that I have for you. Did you ever feel that you will be pushed around by those around you when you compromised? If yes, how did you overcome that?
Okay. Well, tell me. I'm sorry. So let me put that across, Deepa. So when my father got his job and the financial strain was a little high, I remember that my mother could have taken that school job and then managed financial stuff. But because of that equation she had with her mother-in-law, the harmony that she could maintain with all her in-laws came of so much help in the later years. It is unbelievable. Be it when we were shifting places, be it when my father was sick in 2000 and 2007, or be it even in 2016, the support we got from the family was enormous. We cannot imagine that amount of support coming in if we would have possibly not compromised. Now, being pushed around, maybe you'll have to, I don't know how she managed not to be pushed around. That's a question that possibly you'll have to ask her, or if she can't take it, then possibly she'll have to write back.
Yes.
But yes, she did manage. And I have seen personally how she has maintained relationships. I must tell you, Deepa, in a week, so I go to work twice, maybe thrice a week. The days that I'm at home, she wants me to pick up the phone and call a list that she has. So she says, Sunday you will call this person, Monday you will call this person, Tuesday you will call this person. And I need to keep dialing to that person. And that's how she stays in touch. And she keeps.
I keep touch. Even all my in-laws, sisters, and even my husband's cousins, all are in touch, even till today. That's the relation I have kept with them.
Thank you so much, Amma, for this awe-inspiring session. We are grateful that you accepted our request and let us into your life. We will share all the comments, the love that has poured in for you. In fact, we have a few requests from Toastmasters asking you to join Bollywood Toastmasters Club. So we'll share that with you offline. But before I move on to my closing, I would like to request Balaji to share some pictures of yours.
Thank you, Deepa. Amma, I have some pictures here.
Oh,
When was this?
This was my elder son's, after his marriage, there was a reception we kept. Yeah.
This was in Mumbai. This was
in Mumbai?
The cake is coming. It was anniversary.
Oh, this is anniversary. Anniversary cake, yeah, correct.
This was actually, sir, in 2014, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So the left side one is 2014, the anniversary. The right side one is in 2010, when we had gone to Shirdi. So Amma and Appa had visited Shirdi for the first time, and this photograph was taken right at the place where you can go and have food at the Shirdi Devasthan.
So who is this?
This will come from there, not me.
And this is smaller one is this fellow, younger fellow, and that the elder son who is in Bangalore. And that is my husband and both the children. It's in Goa, we have in the house.
Good to see this picture. And when was this, Amma?
This is
the one that you see on the right, sir, was taken by me in 2013, just on the day I was leaving Mumbai for Dubai.
Okay.
And the one on the left is a little nostalgic because it was taken exactly 2 months before my father passed away.
Oh, okay. There you are. And they're all online. By the way, they're watching and enjoying.
Yeah, they are watching. They are watching. This actually my elder son, all that is my daughter-in-law, both the grandson and myself. We were going to Mahabaleshwar, Mahabalipuram, for my cousin sister's daughter's marriage. At the time, this photo has taken.
Thank you so much, Amma.
Thank you.
It's been fantastic to have you on SixSox, and to all the people who have been here. Thanks so much. We would end the program now. See you all. See you next time. Bye-bye.